Hello and welcome to Cafe Mutual YouTube channel. Friends, the MF industry has introduced a new asset class called silver ETF. So while many Indians have been investing in this asset class for years in the form of silver bars and silver coins, this is the first time that the MF industry is offering silver in an electronic form. So to help us understand if silver deserves place in your client's portfolio, today we have with us Samir Desai, National Lead ETF Retail at Nippon India Mutual Fund. Samir has played a key role in making ETFs popular among Indian investors. He has close to 30 years of experience in financial services industry. So I can say that we will be going to benefit from his wisdom today. Welcome, Samir.
Thank you, Nishan, for inviting me to your show and wishing your viewers a healthy and safe 2022.
Great. So, Samir, my first question to you is about silver ETFs as an asset class. So, can you take us through the past performance of silver as an asset class and how it has performed with respect to gold?
Sure, Nishan. So, silver, if I look at the really long-term track record, because that's the right way to look at the data. And if I consider the data from, let's say, January 1990 to December 2021, and do a rolling return analysis, a daily rolling return instead of a point-to-point, because that's a more robust way of looking at the data, then I find that based on a 15, 10, and 5-year daily rolling return, silver has done well, and in fact, it has managed to outperform inflation. And its returns are almost identical to gold. So I can say that gold and silver are almost like cousins. They behave in a similar fashion. So if I throw some numbers for the benefit of our viewers, yes. Then for a 15-year daily rolling time period from January 1990 to December 2021, gold and silver have given a return of about 11.2%. If I take a 5-year daily rolling time period, then the return is about 9.5 and 9.7 for gold and silver, respectively. This is CAGR returns. So only in the short term we find that in a 1-year daily rolling time period that silver has slightly outperformed gold. Otherwise, both behave in a similar fashion, both being precious metals.
Okay. So, Samir, we would like to understand that what are the uses of silver other than jewelry? So, can you take us through the prospects?
Sure, Nishan. So, intuitively, we may believe that jewelry is one of the major uses of silver, but actually it's not so. Majority of the usage is industrial. And I'll split this into 2 parts. One is the traditional industrial usage, the traditional industries. But the more exciting part is the new age use of silver. So the traditional use of silver is, for example, in the electronics. It's a major input because it's an excellent conductor of electricity. In fact, one of the best conductors of electricity. It is also used for coating in medical devices because it has, anti-fungal properties, disinfectant properties. It is used in X-ray films, photographic films. It is used in bearings, which are used in the auto industry. It is used as a catalyst in many of the industrial chemical reactions. So these are some of the traditional uses of silver. But the new age uses of silver are the ones that are exciting. So, we all have been hearing about greenhouse, gases, climate change. The climate change protocols are becoming very stringent. And that is why we are migrating now to the newer and newer sources of energy, the greener sources of energy. So, for example, solar panels. Solar panels have silver as a major input in the photovoltaic cells. Okay, so that is where silver is used. And I think with India also increasingly adopting solar energy, we will find use of silver here. 5G networks really require silver. So for 5G networks to work seamlessly and smoothly, silver is a major input. It reduces what we call the latency of the networks because computers and communication networks sometimes have latency. So that gets reduced with the use of silver. So it is the new age use of silver which is more exciting. In fact, I'll mention a report published in March 2020 by the Silver Institute, which was titled Silver's Role in a Future 5G Connected World. So that's, viewers may want to reference that report. It's a very interesting report. So these are some of the, uses of silver over and above jewelry.
Okay. So what is the proportion of silver, industrial use of silver? I mean,
so jewelry is, and I'm quoting 2020 data. Jewelry is close to about 16.5% to 17%. More than 50% is industrial use. Okay, almost 55 to 60% is industrial use. So that's the kind of usage that silver has, and of course the new age uses of silver.
In a way, it is more diversified than gold in terms of usage.
Sure, definitely, yes.
Okay, great. So far we know that silver is being used by a lot of industries, and in fact in most of the critical industries, silver plays an important role. But what are the benefits of holding silver in an electronic form?
So we all understand the hassles of handling the physical metal. You have issues about purity, storage, insurance. It's quite tedious for most of us to handle the physical metal. So when you have the mutual fund route, which gives you exposure to silver, all these are taken care of. So for example, the mutual fund, by SEBI regulation, will have a custodian who will hold the physical silver, which in this case is of 99.9% purity bars as per SEBI regulation. So that is taken care of. So storage is taken care of. Purity, because of the SEBI regulations, there will be audit reports just like you have in the gold ETF and the gold fund of fund schemes. And also the insurance is taken care of in the expense ratio by the asset management company. So all these, tedious issues which are there in handling the physical metal go away in the electronic form.
Great. So Samir, Nippon India has launched Silver ETF and its FOF. So why should investor look to invest in FOF structure if there is ETF available for clients?
Yes, sure. So first of all, a fund of fund, as the name suggests, is a wrapper around the ETF. So whatever the fund of fund collects, it will invest in the ETF units. So the objective of the fund of fund scheme is to provide a return, close to the ETF return. Now, the fund of fund or the traditional mutual fund route is very useful for those investors who do not want to operate through a broking account and a demat account. Okay, so this is the traditional mutual fund route where you subscribe units exactly like you would subscribe in any traditional mutual fund scheme. You can start an SIP. You can invest as little as rupees 100. Okay, so it's a very friendly mutual fund route which does away the need for having broking and demat accounts. And because the FOF invests in the silver ETF units, which in turn will invest in the physical metal, the FOF investor is actually capturing the movement of the physical metal.
Okay. And also it would be more liquid, I guess, in compared to...
Yes. So one can subscribe and redeem at the day-end NAV, exactly like one would subscribe or redeem any mutual fund scheme on an ongoing basis after the NFO closes.
Okay. Samir, what would be the taxation structure of ETF and FOF in this case, silver?
So this will be the net taxation because it's a commodity. So identical to gold, it will follow the debt taxation route. So indirectly, it means that the investor should hold it at least for 3 years to avail of the long-term indexation benefit.
Okay. So Samir, why should MFDs look at distributing silver ETFs and FOFs to their clients?
So mutual fund distributors, for them, it's an additional diversification option in the mutual fund format within the commodity space. So just like, we diversify, let's say if I have to use the equity analogy, just like we diversify between large, mid and small caps, this is one more tool available now for Indian investors to diversify within the commodity space. It will have direct plan, regular plans. So, mutual fund distributors can hope to have some commercial gain also, which may not be possible in the ETF. And that is why this is, preferable for the MFDs.
Mhm. Okay.
Yes.
And what are the key risks associated with ETFs and FOF, silver, basically?
Well, I think the very important, thing that one needs to keep in mind is, and I'm taking the example of the gold ETF deliberately because there is no past track record of any silver ETF currently, as all are beginning their journey at the same time. But in an ETF, because the FOF feeds into the ETF, so I will talk about the ETF. One of the most important criteria in ETF selection is the daily average volume. Unless the daily average volume is not high, the price discovery will not be efficient. And the resultant FOF NAV will also not be very efficient. So it is very important to choose an ETF which has a very high daily average volume. And there we have to look at the gold track record. The AMCs that have been running gold funds and gold ETFs, those AMCs which have the highest daily average volumes, that data point should be considered to select the silver ETF, because that would be an apples to apples comparison.
Right. So Samir, one last question. What is the correlation between silver and equities?
So being a precious metal, just like gold, silver is negatively correlated with equities. I can share some data. So, for a time period, April 2005 to December 2021, on a 3 and 5 year daily rolling return, the returns, the correlation with Nifty 50 index, Nifty 100 index, mid cap 150, small cap 250, and Nifty 500. All the major equity proxies, the correlation is negative. So this is, very good. This is very good news to practice asset allocation, which can be practiced efficiently. One can combine negatively correlated assets to bring down the overall portfolio risk. So that is where silver, should be a good portfolio building block.
Okay. And what should be the ideal allocation given to silver?
So this would, I guess, Nishant, depend on the investor, his risk profile, his objectives. So I would recommend that this should be done by the investor with the, with his financial advisor.
Okay. So Samir, what kind of percentage should I allocate to silver? If I am putting 10% of my portfolio in commodity, what should be the ideal percentage given to silver?
So, I would reckon that equal allocation to both gold and silver, because one is more of a store of value, which is gold. The other is, has many industrial uses. It is also a store of value, and it has a lot of new age uses. So probably silver will, really bloom in the future. And if I may, use that idiom, which is there in English, born with a silver spoon in the mouth. So most of us are not born with a silver spoon in the mouth, but we can definitely participate in silver ETFs and silver FOFs.
Yeah. So gold and silver both has to be the part of investors' portfolio.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So Samir, this session reminds me of old Pankaj Udas song, which says, "चांदी जैसा रंग है तेरा, सोने जैसे बाल, एक तू ही धनवान है गोरी, बाकी सब कंगाल." So you have very well pointed out that investors should hold both the asset classes, gold and silver, to become wealthy.
Yeah, that's Nishan, really an apt way of putting it.
Yeah. Thank you. With that, we have come to an end to this interesting session. Thank you so much, Samir, for your valuable time and insights.
Thank you, Nishan, for inviting me over. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys, for giving your valuable time. Thank you so much. Bye.